Well, welcome back, everyone. Lights, camera, action. It's Make Our World Your Runway. You know this is the weekly show that interviews the most fascinating individuals from the world of modeling, fashion, beauty, business, and even the entertainment industry. And as always, we have a very exciting show planned for you today. But before we begin, we always like to make a few special announcements. And those announcements are, we want to thank the sponsors that make this show so possible every week. And that is the Global Trade Chamber, 100 Successful Women in Business, Carlos Ibiza Photography, Lux Salon, Queen Beauty Network, Tower Club, Royal Dames, and Vida Designs. So sponsors, thank you so much for making this show possible. And I want to tell our viewers to remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so that you can see all the shows from Make Our World Your Runway and Success Stories. And I highly recommend our viewers to tune into Success Stories, because this show does feature the most amazing women in the world of business and community service. From humble beginnings to successful entrepreneurs, these women will totally inspire you. And of course, get ready for some exciting conferences, speakers, and awards as 100 Successful Women in Business and the Global Trade Chamber come to a city near you. And the city that they're going to come to you next is going to be Miami, Florida, November 5th and 6th. And we are calling all successful women in business because it's time to shine a light on your achievements. Nominate yourself or a colleague for a chance to be honored at the Special Awards Dinner Gala in Miami. So let's come together to honor the impactful women in business and community service. Remember to claim the well-deserved award, and you need to be present in Miami at the Awards Dinner Gala to receive the award. So nominate yourself or a colleague for the reception gala. And there's also going to be networking, conferences, business expo, fashion show, and of course, Make Our World Your Runway will be there going live. Now, these shows are free to attend. You're definitely going to love it. But if you want to be a speaker and you also want to be an exhibitor, there's information on the website for that too. So please go to www.100swb.com for all the information. And remember, these shows are a sellout. So please go to the website now, fill out your free application, and if you want to be a speaker or you want to be an exhibitor, there's information there too. Once again, our website, www.100swb.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on to our show. This lovely, lovely lady that I have in the studio today is the co-founder and director of Etiquette Excellence Consulting's of Etiquette and Protocol and Event Organizers. This was established in Palm Beach since 2003, and they provide seminars, courses, and workshops to individuals, families, and corporate entities. She also specializes in etiquette for children and teens, developing a sequence of courses for their ages. And she also holds a master's degree in adult education and is an etiquette and protocol expert, and with more than 30 years of teaching experience, both in academy and the private sector. She is recognized as a public speaker, both in English and Spanish, and has published articles about manners and etiquette. She is also the International Director of PortadaFlorida online publication and has been the conductor of the TV program Etiqueta Excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and I'm going to discuss something that she did with me a long time ago, please welcome to the studio Miss YVONNE Salas. YVONNE, welcome to Make Our World Your Runway.
Thank you, Angela, for this invitation. I look forward to our conversation.
Oh my God, yes, and I think you and I have been around for so long.
We have. We're friends for a long time.
For a long time.
Working together.
Absolutely. And you know, what I'd like to tell our viewers, when I first came down here, of course, you know, I didn't know too many people, but yourself and Al Otero had reached out. And when I wanted to originally start the Miss Latina International pageant, yourself and Al Otero were really like one of the founders with me on that. So I want to thank you for that, because it has been going strong ever since, and now we developed into Miss International World. So now we're truly international. So YVONNE, thank you for all of that help.
It's been a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure working with you. I see how involved with your pageants you are and how supportive of your candidates, of all the young ladies and not so young that participate. And so I look forward to continued success together.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what's so funny? Last night when I was thinking about some of the events that we've attended and some of the things we've done, I still remember that fashion show with Nicholas Verrazzola.
Oh, it was a wonderful event.
Oh my God. You know there's still people talking about that?
Yes, yes, there are. As a matter of fact, very recently, I met someone in a networking event, and she immediately mentioned that. And I said, oh my goodness, you remember? Yes. It's one of those events that continues to be in people's mind. You know, my sister, Tenchi, whom you know so well,
Yes.
Was the one that put it together with the support of, you know, Felisola, which is a friend of hers for many years.
Yes.
And it turned out wonderful. Wasn't it amazing?
Oh my God, it was amazing. And what I like about Nicholas was that I had done another show with him with the Estefans, as a matter of fact, when Bongos was open. And I went to his studio and I walked in and he said, that's the gown for her. And I looked and I put it on and it fit me like a glove, like it was tailor-made for me. That was the thing about Nicholas. He would just look at the model or look at the person that he was going to dress, and he just knew. And it really was. That was truly a fabulous event. I remember sitting there that night enjoying every minute of that event. It was fabulous. But I know you're still doing things with Portada, so give us an update on where Portada is right now.
Well, Portada has evolved, as has the market. You remember that initially we were in print,
Yes.
a beautiful magazine, glossy pages and all of that. But, you know, the internet took over. And so right now we publish, we continue to be servicing the communities, but only online. So we have a wonderful following in Facebook, also in Instagram. And so Portada Florida magazine continues to exist, but adapting to the new times and to what people are interested in right now.
Yeah.
We do reels, which, you know, people love, short span information, and we continue to cover events like that. So Miss International is definitely going to be in, you know, all the social media of Portada Florida. And remember, we used to have a Miss Portada also when it used to be on the cover of the magazines.
Right.
And right now, everything will be online, but count with our support as always.
Thank you. Yeah, I know Portada was a great, the magazine was absolutely beautiful. And you know, going back, not only Portada, but there were so many other magazines that were out at the same time. And of course, the internet took over. And I've even seen, believe it or not, I've even seen a lot of pageants that actually went online with certain interviews and things like that. So AI has definitely taken over.
Oh, yes, definitely. But you're right. Many events we're seeing with the interview, at least the interview part, online. Everybody going on Zoom. Of course, it's easier, you know, for candidates that are not you know, in the same city. So it facilitates communication, but it's different.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely different, you know. And in fact, yesterday, I thought I saw something online, AI, on how they are now going to create, they got a robot. This is happening in China, but eventually it'll be here. They have a robot that can actually carry a child for 9 months.
Oh, you're kidding. That I didn't see.
I saw that and I was like, wait a minute. I said, they are actually taking human away. And I was watching a show and they said 5 to 6 years from now, that may happen, okay? You may be looking at somebody and you think they're human, but they're actually been created from AI.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So time is just moving fast. But anyway, I know you have this wonderful organization. It's called, how you to pronounce it?
Forza, Etiqueta.
Etiqueta Excellence, okay. And you do a lot of consulting work on that.
Yes, we do. We're very happy. You know me for so many years. You know, my mission is to bring civility to the forefront because I feel that every day we need it more and more.
Right.
The way people are rude to each other, the way people speak to each other. And I have a passion for making people aware that our words have meaning and value, and we have to be kind. At the end of the day, just kindness.
Exactly. And I understand with the etiquette program that you have, you also teach children as well too, which is excellent.
Yes, yes. We are very involved with that. As you know, I published a book
Yes.
that is a guide for parents, grandparents, and educators. It's a very easy format. Each chapter is a situation that a child is involved with, because we have to teach children very early on the importance of kindness and respect.
Yes.
And, you know, I am sure that the bullying situation would be reduced to a minimum if we taught our children how important it is to have respect for everyone and to be kind to everyone.
Right.
So that's the importance.
Exactly, exactly. So, and I think it's great if children learn etiquette at a very early age, okay? That was something that, when I was very small, and they would take me into a restaurant, that was one thing that waiters and waitresses used to compliment my mother and father on. They said, we cannot believe, they said, how she actually acts in a restaurant. Of course, my father was very strict, and so was my mother. My father was worse. But my mother used to explain, they said, well, she's an only child at home. And we told her, the way you behave at home is the way you have to behave when you're out. You're not going to do so, and you have to respect everything. I'll never forget one time I was up in my grandmother's house, and my cousin decided he was going to walk her couch. And of course, you know, when you're young, you're going to follow suit. Yeah. So I did the same thing, and did my father pull me up from the pants, and boom, okay? And my grandmother says, no, she said, if Bobby did, he said, she don't do that in my house, she's not doing it in your house. He said, I don't care, he says, what Bobby did. He said, she respects your house the same way she respects ours. So that's the way I was taught, okay? And I could go in a restaurant. I remember going in a place, it was in Emerson, New Jersey, called the Lincoln Tavern. And it was called that, but it was a very fancy restaurant. And I would actually sit there and take the napkin and put it on my lap. And a lot of people would just look at me saying, oh my God, at that age, at 5, 6 years old, this is what she could do. But I've gone in restaurants today where the kids throw things on the floor. I'll walk into a restaurant and I'll tell the waitress, can you clean underneath the table? She says, oh, I'm so sorry, we had a bunch of kids here. See, I never did that. And neither did my cousins. But what you're doing is, that's a great asset, because at least children will know what knife to use, what fork to use, how to behave in a restaurant, even how to order on a menu.
Exactly. Well, all those things can be taught. And the concept is, Angela, that parents have a responsibility to teach these things at home, because teaching manners is not a luxury.
No.
When you teach manners, you're teaching skills for the success of that child, because it will open doors. Because it's like you're saying, who wants to be with a child that's misbehaved? No one.
No one.
And you have to teach kindness at home, you have to teach respect, you have to teach using kind words.
Right.
Please, thank you. That has to be a habit. And the earlier that we teach that at home, the more that we're helping our children to have good relationships, to get along with people, and to be respected.
Right.
Because you have to respect in order to expect to be respected back.
Exactly, yeah. One hand washes the other. You have to, if you want respect yourself, you have to give that respect to someone else, which is excellent. And you want to laugh? I go into restaurants and I start doing this. I'm like, there's some adults that don't even know how to.
Oh, no. Well, I always end my talks to parents saying, remember that children model behavior.
Right.
So you cannot teach something that you're not doing yourself. So you have to make sure that whatever it is that you're telling your child that you expect from them, you have to do it yourself. And that, one of the aspects is now with technology. You can't expect children not to be on their phone all the time if
Right.
they see their parents all the time on their phone.
Exactly.
If they see the phone on top of the table and you're having a meal, if you interrupt the conversation to answer a phone call, all of those things are seen by the children,
Right.
and you can't expect them not to do it.
Yeah, exactly. The worst is when you're flying somewhere. Thank God my husband sits next to me, and I try to get the 2 seats, because I've been on a plane where there's 3 seats, and I'm like, either let me sit by the window or let me sit on the aisle. Oh my God, watching people eat on an airplane is the worst.
The worst. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because one of the plans I have, and I am already doing research on, is to write a book on vacation etiquette.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's a bestseller. I'll even get involved with you on that. Okay, vacation etiquette.
Because from the time you get to the airport, the way people behave at the airport, the way they talk to the agents,
Yes.
the way they push through lines, the way they dress. You see people taking off their shoes and putting their bare feet on top of the seats.
Yes.
No, I mean, I'm telling you.
It is. It's unbelievable. I'll go through an airport. I say to my husband now, all right, I'm not going to wear a ball gown going on a plane. But what I say to him, Al, at least you and I took a shower. We have nice clothes on. I may not have full face of makeup on, but at least I'm decent. I watch people come on and go, did they just get up out of bed and just throw clothes on and didn't take a shower? It's ridiculous. I said, if you're going to be flying for 8-9 hours, especially if you're going overseas, you're going to sit there like that? I said, that's crazy. If it's a short hop, okay. If you're going from here to, let's say, maybe up to New York, but still.
There's a minimum. There's a minimum decency, because it's what we were saying about respect. I mean, who can respect you if you look like that? But you're disrespecting me if I have to sit next to you, if I have to be in front or behind you on a line, and you're this, it's like people, even with body odor. It's like you say, people just get out of bed, roll out of bed, no consideration. Of course, way back when, people used to get dressed up to go on a plane. You wore a fine outfit, a suit, even stockings. But okay, we don't expect that today, because comfort has taken over fashion.
Yes.
But there is a minimum. I still think that there is a code of behavior that we have to comply with, and when we're going to be in public places, we have to respect other people by the way we dress, by the way we act, and that is something that is a social skill.
Yeah, exactly. And I just noticed something. You do something exactly that I do, and a lot of women do notice it, and they say, oh, you're well dressed. You wear stockings, and so do I. Okay, and I'll even wear them under my slacks, because, and a lot of times I've had women come up to me and say, you're a well-dressed lady, and I look at them, I go, what makes you say that? You've got stockings on, okay? And I said, look, even if I took my stockings on, my legs are still in shape, but I'd have to,
Of course.
there's a few little lumps there. I'd have to put the Derma blend on. So what is it to take a pair of stockings, put it on? All right, it is another step of dressing, but at least it looks nice. It looks elegant when you go, exactly. But a lot of the young girls today, I get it, don't wear stockings. Listen, if I was 18 or 19 years old, I probably would say,
okay.
get away with it. Okay.
No, but even when we have, the elegant dressing, or, the grace seminars that we provide for up-and-coming young professionals and business women, they comment on that, and I say, look, it distinguishes you. But we're in Florida, yes, but I'm not saying you're going to wear stockings to go walk around, to go exercise, but we're always in air conditioning environment. So the excuse that you're in Florida is not valid, because you go in the car, you're with air conditioning, you get out, you walk 3 steps, you walk into an office, it's freezing.
Exactly.
It's not even air conditioning. You need a sweater. So what's the excuse of not wearing stockings if you want to be well dressed? Well, some companies require their executives, as part of their professional dress, to wear stockings. I totally agree. It's like you say, it's a step up in your...
It's a step up. And it's the same thing when New York City, even though things have lightened up there, it's still that way. I always tell people, you want to work in New York City? Do it for 1 year, because when you get an education, you have to, all right, the temperature up there is different. You know, you got the 4 seasons, so sometimes it's a little nicer when it's cool and you're putting a suit on. But my husband worked in New York City for 30 years. I worked there for about 27 and a half. You had to go to work dressed. If you didn't, security would be at your desk, walking you out, went home, and then come back and get dressed. Everything, even in the hot summertime, my husband would loosen up the tie because of the subways, but you had to wear a suit and a tie. Now, what they did was on Fridays in the summertime, they had what was called dress down day.
Dress down day.
But not jeans and not sneakers. It was a nice pair of pants, maybe with a sweater or, you know, a nice shirt. Now, if you had a customer, you still had to come in with a suit. But it was dress down day. And I'll never forget one time, and my husband and I still laugh about this. We call him the hillbilly. There was a guy in Al's office. He came in with the sneakers and the jeans and the shirt. My husband says, "What's this?" He said, "Oh, it's dress down day." He says, "Oh, not that dress down." He says, "Go home." He says, "I don't care." He says, "How far do you live?" He says, "Well, I'm only 20 minutes. He says, "All right, go home and come back." Because he said, if you were over the river back in Jersey, he said, you weren't coming back. "Oh, wait a minute, that's not fair." He says, "No, that's fair." He said, "We explained what dress down day was." And if you were in the cosmetic industry years ago, oh my God. If you did not have your makeup on, why were you even in the cosmetic industry? I go to the cosmetic departments today and I look around and I go, what are they hiring? Where did they get these people from? They don't know that. Did you ever see that movie, The Devil Wears Prada? Okay.
I'm looking forward to the new one.
I am too. When I walk into the cosmetic industry, they go, "Here comes Meryl Streep." I said, "You guys remember, huh?" I can't believe it. I'll walk in there and go, "All right, look." I said, "I don't care if a woman is a little heavy or whatever the age is, but geez, you're in the cosmetic industry. People are coming to you because you're supposed to be what they're looking for, and you're standing here with no makeup and ratty hair." I told him, I said, "This wouldn't be in my day." I said, "Forget it." But even the internet has changed that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Things have evolved, definitely. But still, you know, many times, because I've been doing lately a lot of training for interns and Gen Z, and they simply don't know. It hasn't been explained to them the importance of a first impression. And first impressions are crucial.
Yes.
And it's like you say, if you go to a cosmetics counter and the person that is there doesn't give a professional image, are you going to stop there and shop there? No, you're not. You're going to move over to a different counter.
That's
because
right.
It's like you say, it's your expectations.
Yeah.
So you have to be above.
You have to go above and beyond. Even in the pageant industry, all right, I've seen a lot of changes. I mean, most of the pageant girls are still very elegant, but even in that, I've seen a lot of changes, and I'm like, where did this come from? Like, this is supposed to be the world of pageantry, you know. But unfortunately, this is what has happened, and the industry has changed, and I think a lot of it has to do with the internet.
Yes, totally.
You know, and I've done Zoom calls where, you know, I know people are working from home, and I'm get on the Zoom call and I'm looking and saying, this is still a business call.
Exactly.
Even though you're working from home, it doesn't mean, you know, and find a place in your house where your bed isn't a mess. If I know I'm going to do a Zoom call, my computer's there, I make sure that bed is done and the pillows and everything.
Adequate, and you're looking, you know, like you're going to the office. Right. Just because it's on Zoom, if it's a professional business call, you still have to look the same as if you had that meeting at your office. It's not in PJs, it's not laying on your bed, it's not with your hair undone.
Right.
It's fix yourself with respect of the person that you are meeting with.
Exactly. And it's so funny. I said the other day to my husband, I said, you know what, Al? Sometimes the dogs on the street look better than people. I laugh. I said, the dogs are all groomed and everything. Even my 2 cats, okay, always groomed. I always kept them inside. They always looked great. And I said, I hate to say it, my cats look better, I said, than sometimes the people I see on.
You're right, you're right.
I was very shocked, even in the hospital just recently, looking at the doctors, okay, the men doctors seem to be, but I'm looking at some of the nurses and some of the female doctors, I'm like, all right, I understand this is not the cosmetic profession, but
you can comb your hair.
But you can comb your hair and you can put something on to look decent.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I agree. I agree.
I was like, the whole industry has absolutely changed, you know. And if you watch the old movies and the old-time movie actresses, oh my God. And that's why we used to love to watch the Academy Awards years ago, because we said, oh, look at the way they look on the red carpet. We wanted to look like them. Now they go on the red carpet, I don't know what the heck they're wearing, if they're wearing anything at all.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, if you see something like the Met Gala,
oh,
you say, what is that about? Well, I guess I'm old.
No, I'm old too. I mean, I'm old-fashioned. I'm like, you know, this is unbelievable. But
I still think that there is a minimum of things, and we have to teach our children, we have to teach our young people. There is a level of respect that we project to ourselves and to others. And that includes the way we're dressed, our personal hygiene, and I emphasize that. And it's something you have to teach, you know, especially young men, boys. You have to have personal hygiene.
Right,
it has
exactly.
nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with fashion, because fashion changes, but it has to do with basic respect for yourself and for others.
exactly. And my grandmother used to say, I don't care if you got $1 or $1 million, soap and water is the cheapest thing. Buy a bar of soap and get dressed. Yep, exactly.
And this is something you have to teach even when we have office etiquette trainings. People in the offices, they need to know that there is a level of personal hygiene that you have to maintain.
Yeah, you'll have to maintain that. If you're in any business, okay? And listen, even being sick at home, I still got up in the morning, did my hair. Maybe I didn't wear my fancy clothes, but at least I looked decent. If somebody came in the house, I had my socks on, my hair was done, my teeth were brushed. But you'll get some people, if they're sick and they stay in bed all day, they're not going to get up. It's unbelievable. But anyway, we have about 5 minutes left. What would you like our viewers to know?
Well, I would like them to know that Etiqueta Excellence Manners is available for consultations, that I am on a mission to bring civility and decency back into our communities. And I believe that it starts at home, but I know that parents have very busy schedules and we don't always have the time, but we have to make the time. And sitting at the table with your children is a place to start. We don't want perfect children, we want respectful and kind children and young people.
Exactly, then I must still be a child because I'm still far from perfect. But anyway, on one of next time you after the pageant, oh, and I do want to say it's going to be an honor to have you on our judging panel on August the 31st. It's going to be wonderful, and I definitely have to go with you on one of the seminars that you teach. I definitely want to get more involved with this, maybe get some of the girls more involved with this, because there's nothing like going out and having proper etiquette. But anyway, thank you so much, Yvonne, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this segment. Very different from everything that we've done, but it is an important segment. So once again, thank you for joining in to Make Our World Your Runway, and stay tuned because the next couple of weeks we're going to have some fabulous, fabulous shows coming your way. Thank you once again. Have a great weekend and God bless.